During the colonial days, the Europeans owned more than half of the African continent as colonies, and since then, their impact has been greatly felt in all aspects of our economies, in trade, cooperation, education, among others. I am here at the European Union delegation in Accra to probe every little detail you would have asked if granted the opportunity to recline on a couch next to the ambassador. And to us as youth and at Grace Live TV, diplomatic talks and high-profile interviews are of great essence to the youth. So join me, Mr. Z, as we probe and find out everything about the European Union in Ghana. So you're welcome, Ambassador.
Thank you.
To the Star Sports Show. This is the time with the youth, and the youth would like to find out every information about the EU in Ghana. So if you had the chance to tell somebody a natural information, give a brief information about yourself, what would it be?
Well, first of all, I represent the European Union in Ghana. The European Union is a wonderful project whereby 27 European nations work together for the prosperity of their people, for democracy, and for a better world for all of us, for world cooperation. So I am a European at heart. I left my country 25 years ago. I have lived in Brussels, the so-called capital of Europe, since then. But I am Italian, and in fact, I would say even more, I am from the Mediterranean. So I am a European in my brain, in my head, but my heart beats on the Mediterranean coast, on the sea that the ancient Romans called the Mare Nostrum, because it was theirs at the time. They were dominating it. And I feel that that's really where my heart still beats. So, you know, when I'm talking to you, I can see the blue of the sky in the south of Italy, where it's where I come from, and of the sea, and then the green of our Mediterranean vegetation. So that's, if I have to say, maybe what defines me very, very deeply inside is the Mediterranean culture, the food, the way that we are together in our society, which does not prevent me also to feel, as I said, European and in a way a citizen of the world, because I have traveled in a lot of countries in Europe and outside Europe. I think last time I counted it was 71 or something. Now COVID has stopped me in my traveling tracks, but I think it's a good thing to be still deeply into your own culture and at the same time to be open to the world, and that's how I try to be.
Great. So growing up from the Mediterranean area, was it always your ambition to be an ambassador? Because growing up, I wanted to be a musician, but listening to my voice over and over, I needed to realign my dreams. Was it always your dream to be an ambassador?
Well, I had a brief period when I wanted to be a fashion designer, but I realized I had no talent whatsoever for drawing, so that also had to be put in the drawer. But there was one thing that I wanted, as I would say, as going back as I can remember, which was I wanted to go out. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to have some international kind of job. I didn't want specifically to be an ambassador because also that was seen in the small town where I lived, and consider that nobody spoke English at the time. Just to give you an idea, it was a very closed environment. A diplomat was considered a job for the children of rich people. And that was absolutely not my case. My family was middle class, but with very humble origins. And so to go to diplomatic school was for the children of the diplomats. So I didn't even look at it. But then as I told you, I wanted to go out and I wanted to work for an international organization. So when I finished my studies, that's where I started trying. And I was lucky enough to be recruited by the European Commission 25 years ago now, and to leave my country for good. In fact, the ambassador idea came up a few years ago when there was it's a bit bureaucratic, but there was a door open for people working in the European Commission, which is a bit like the government of the EU, to join the European Diplomatic Service. And so I applied and I got this job. So I'm I would say I am an international civil servant by choice, and I am an ambassador a bit by chance.
Right. That's great. So, any highlights of your moments in Ghana? What would you call the joy and the juice of your stay so far?
Well, being an EU ambassador gives you a lot of possibility to pursue what you think are somehow your values or your interests, and to choose with a certain degree of freedom the areas where you want to reinforce the relationship with the country. So to be in Ghana has given me the occasion to promote a lot of collaboration in the field of the environment and of climate, environmental education, the treatment of waste, prevent deforestation, working to reduce plastic waste, the circular economy. These are issues that really, where I really feel strongly. It's, the future of our planet is in danger because of the pollution, because of the climate change. And for me to be able to give my small contribution as EU ambassador in orienting our conversation and collaboration towards these subject matters has really been a moment of great joy.
Right. Great. So most of the things you just mentioned are also embedded in the SDGs. What are some of the ways the European Union delegation in Ghana helping Ghana as a country to attain most of the SDGs?
Well, we have a lot of projects. It's going to be perhaps a little bit long to present them all. But basically, the priorities of our cooperation with Ghana have been sustainable development. So we do a lot of agriculture and protection of natural resources and environment. There's been economic growth, which is also a very important part of the SDG, and good governance. That were the three pillars of the cooperation. I say where because now we are looking at the plans for this year onwards, for the next 7 years. The priorities are not going to shift too much, in fact, because we are still talking about, after all, the pillars of the SDG. But we have added more, I think, emphasis on supporting the green growth of Ghana. We are going to try and collaborate with the private sector to support projects that can create sustainable jobs for young people. We are also going to look at areas that were less important before, but they are taking importance, like security, to help Ghana secure its borders and protect itself from the possible terrorist threats coming from outside. We will continue to work on governance. We will continue to support women empowerment, youth empowerment, as I said, and we will also look at how we can work on a sustainable development of cities in Ghana. We will have a part of our program that will look at cities on a global way and to see how to improve governance. It's a new thing that we're going to do. I'm quite excited about it. We are still at a very, very early level of definition. Another area where we will work will be digitalization. The whole of our program will have a digital component and an education component.
Right. That's great. And looks like you've given us a whole bigger picture. So we'd like to deconstruct it little by little. So you will attest to the fact that COVID has really changed the way things are in our world nowadays. Do you think the country is making huge efforts in order to curb down the COVID? And is the Commission also assisting in any way?
We appreciate very much Ghana's effort to fight against COVID-19. Ghana has done actually quite well. The economy took a hit, but less than in other places. Sadly, there has been loss of life and human suffering. which we always regret. But we also have to recognize that if you look at the figures in Ghana and the figures with other countries, Ghana has been until now spared the worst. And I hope that with now vaccination started to kick in and what I can see a better compliance of the population with the protective measures enforced by the government, I am hopeful that the second wave that we saw in January and February may be the last, and that we can slowly get out of this crisis. But of course, this is our hope. What we can do is to all of us behave responsibly, listen to what the government authorities are recommending. But then there are aspects like the variants of the virus which are beyond our control. So we hope that, again, we will need a bit of luck in addition to our commitment to get out of this crisis.
That's great. So looking at the time the Commission has been in Ghana, we'd like you to shed light on the long impact of the cooperation between Ghana and the European Union and its impact in the long term for prosperity of Ghana. So when we are looking at in the next 10, 20 years from now, the positive impact of the Union in Ghana and its importance to the youth.
Well, what I hope, because again, you have to see how this pans out, that we will live a more sustainable, let's put it like this, that with the European Union support, Ghana can embark into a sustainable growth path. What I mean is, Ghana has a strong drive towards economic transformation, industrialization, diversify its economy so that jobs can be created for young people. Digitalization, modernization, all this. What also needs to be taken into account is the impact that the economic growth has on the environment, that the growth doesn't happen at the expense of the planet, which means that maybe today young people will have jobs, but tomorrow they will have no jobs and the devastated environment to deal with. We know that climate change is also one of the big causes for migration of youth. First from the countryside to the cities, and then perhaps some of these young people will decide to embark in a journey towards, following the dream that life is better somewhere else, that very often ends up quite badly. So for all this, we need to preserve our planet at the same time as we try to transform our economies. This is not only for Ghana, this is everywhere in the world. The biggest priority of the European Union in this moment is what we call the European Green Deal, a project of global transformation of the way we grow so that we will not pay tomorrow what we are thinking of, what we think that we are gaining today. Europe aspires at being climate or carbon neutral by 2050. It seems a long time, but it is not such a long time. We would like to support Ghana to have its development, its transformation directly in a more sustainable way, instead of having to change like we in the so-called developed countries had to do, because we realized that our growth model was not working, or that was not working for the future. So I don't know if I've been clear, but the idea, if I had to choose or to hope for an impact that the European Union and also myself, we are here for 4 years, we pass by briefly, but if I had to choose a legacy, it would be a legacy of having oriented our cooperation with Ghana towards a green, sustainable path, and that every job that we have created is going to be a sustainable job, something that will still be there in the future and that will contribute to our planet as well as to our economy.
Right, that's great. And we can feel the impact in our agricultural sector as you've been supporting cocoa farmers and all about that. We'd like you to also throw light on the assistance to our cocoa farmers, and also the reason why you think the youth should be more should also divert their attention towards agriculture as a sector?
Okay, first of all about cocoa. What we have started in Ghana, but we are in fact reflecting here somebody that my headquarters in Brussels are doing, is a dialogue on sustainable cocoa. We are putting all the relevant stakeholders around a virtual table, because these meetings are virtual, to discuss how we can ensure a sustainable future to the cocoa sector. And when we say sustainable future, we are talking about, first of all, a decent income for the farmers. In fact, we know that the poverty of the farmers is the cause of the unsustainability of the cocoa sector.
Right.
In fact, the whole cocoa dialogue that is happening here in Ghana, but also in Cote d'Ivoire, the two biggest producers in the world, was triggered by the agreement last year between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire on the living income differential to ensure a decent income for the cocoa farmers.
Right.
So the first aspect that we have to look at is how to ensure a decent income to the farmers. And then we are looking at how we can make sure that cocoa farming does not cause deforestation, and how we can eliminate child labor from cocoa farming. And why I said before that the poverty is the cause of the other problems. A farmer who is poor does not that sees that his income is not enough to maintain his family, to sustain his family. Then they try to plant more, and they cut forests, they cut other trees.
Right?
And also, when the farmer cannot afford to pay for health, then he puts his children to work. So the first aspect that we have to look at is the poverty of the farmer, and for that we have to engage the private sector, so the traders, the importers of cocoa in Europe, the manufacturers of chocolate. Europe has a responsibility for the sector. We are the first importer of cocoa, the first producer of chocolate, the first consumer of cocoa products. And we buy a lot from Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. So we also have to take our responsibility. We have to put pressure on our private sector so that we ensure that a decent income is granted to the farmers. The private sector here in Ghana is doing a lot of initiatives for sustainability. Ghana has a lot of very good NGOs that also try to look at the impact of cocoa production. So we are talking with all of these actors, of course, the cocoa board, the farmers representative, and we are trying to find ways to guarantee the sustainability of the sector that is acceptable and viable for all the stakeholders involved, for Ghana as a country. It's not easy, but we have seen a lot of interest in the process, both from the government, from the private sector, from the NGOs. We are very comforted by this interest that we are doing the right thing.
Right. Thank you. And one thing that she said that really triggers me is that in order to ensure a sustainable agricultural sector, the Commission will always render their support. And before we go for our very first commercial break, would you like to probe on education in Europe for Ghanaian youth in particular? We can see that most of our youth are looking at higher education in Europe and all. Would you like to probe on scholarship opportunities for the youth? If the Commission, the delegation here is offering assistance to Ghanaians, how they can access that?
Well, first of all, let me say that I appreciate very much the drive of Ghana as a country towards educating its youth. But starting from the free SHS program of the government, that I understand that in spite of the logistical challenges has been and is still being a big success. But also you can see that Ghanaians value education very much. So the first thing that you see when you arrive in Ghana from the airport is publicity for private schools. So you really can see that there is the aspiration of the Ghanaian people to improve the education levels. And this is, when we talk about sustainability, well, improving education is key for the sustainability of a system. So kudos to Ghana for this, if you allow me. I also believe very much that to offer each other opportunities for education is one of the best ways to cement a relationship, and for different peoples and different cultures to understand each other. Scholarship is a really, really great way to do it. In the European Union, there is a scholarship program which is called Erasmus Plus, or sometimes Erasmus Mundus. It is an extension of the Erasmus program of the European Union, which has been, I think, the best cement ever for a whole generation of Europeans to grow together, to know each other. I think there is one program that has made Europe what it is Erasmus. And then, so we have Erasmus also for other countries in the world. Calls are published every year. Erasmus is both for graduate students and for researchers. They can go to Europe. Generally, they go to 2 different countries, and they can study their discipline in different European institutions. The good news is that the call for this year was out yesterday. So for all the people who are watching this program, go to the European Union delegation to Ghana website, or to the delegation social media. We have a Facebook page, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, and you will see the links for the scholarships terms of reference. Ghana has always been quite active. It's always one of the African countries with the highest uptake of students that manage to obtain these scholarships. Every year I make a point of seeing them personally before they leave. I find them very brave and to embark for this journey. I always tell them, bring a coat because it's going to be cold. Some of them are going to Sweden or Finland, and I think, oh my God, they're going to be so cold. But they're always full of enthusiasm. For me, it's always refreshing to see them. And one last thing, if you allow me, this is a European Union scholarship, but each and every European Union member state has also scholarships for their own institutions. So I would really invite the Ghanaian aspirants, I would say, to go on the websites of the different embassies that we have here in Accra, and to check about their scholarship opportunities, because I know that all of them, or almost all of them, have the possibility.
Well, to us as youth, and to everybody watching, the beacon of diplomatic talks are of great essence to us. Do stay with us. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Right, so welcome back to the Star Sports Show. And this edition, we are here with Ambassador Diana Acconcia, and the conversation still grows. You're welcome from the commercial break. And we'd like to throw another light on female education in Ghana, because from some time back, during the colonial days, Ghana was characterized with issues where young girls were relegated to the background in society, and most of them were confined to culinary responsibilities and childbirth, and were restricted from schools. But we are seeing that the European Union in Ghana is helping to alleviate that. Can you shed light on that and the importance of girl-child education?
Thank you for this question. Of course, as a woman and as a mother of a girl, I feel passionately about this. But let me tell you, I told you I'm from the south of Italy, okay? So where do you think that the place of the woman was when I was born? You know, back in the 70s, it was in the kitchen, of course. My mother was, she still is, thank God she's alive and kicking in good health. She's a typical Southern Italian housewife. She cooks wonderfully, but she has never worked outside of the house.
Wow.
But luckily, my parents, and especially my father, I must say, they educated us girls, because I have a sister. They educated us into, you go out there, you look for a job. First of all, you have to work, and then you will maybe think of having a boyfriend, getting married. So things were changing even then. But I can understand very, very well what it means to come from a traditional society and thinking that, you're a girl, you cannot do this, you cannot do that, this is not your place. This is very typical, unfortunately. And we have to get over this. And this is an effort for all of us. Now, what we do for European Union, we have some specific programs to help women. For example, we're financing a project with some NGO partners to sensitize against gender-based violence. But I think that more important than sensitization program is to give education to girls and to put them to work. So we always make sure that when we have, for example, a job creation program, women are always there as priority beneficiaries. We have a program which is called local economic development programs. We publish some calls for civil society organization, and together with a local authority, typically municipalities, to present a project to create some local economic development, local jobs. And there it's always the women together with youth and persons with disabilities that have to benefit of this kind of program and priority. I launched 3 of these new programs on when was that? On Wednesday in the Adenta municipality here in Greater Accra. We actually added a circular economy component, so the jobs have to be created with circular economy program. We got 3 wonderful proposals by municipalities around Accra, and I'm very proud of having launched that. One other thing I would like to say, I find women in Ghana fantastic. Wherever I go, I try to interact with women, particularly with business women, because women here are running the majority of the small businesses. I find them very brave, very strong, because it's not easy to run a small business in Ghana. There are a lot of challenges, and they are so resilient, and I really love listening to their story. And all in all, I find that women are very, very strong in business in Ghana, because you find them, in the little farming business, but you always have a lot of women that are, CEO of banks, very prominent jobs. There is the deputy governor of the central bank, but where women are really not very present is in politics. So we've seen that in this new parliament, the percentage of women has improved a bit, but I think it's still below 20%, if I remember correctly. And there are a lot of reasons for that. So in May, we are organizing, together with IDEG, that you probably know, the Center for Democratic Governance, we are organizing a workshop on women in politics, what we can do to promote the presence of women in all levels of politics. And I think this is very important, because if the women are there in the decision-making level, they can also promote the interest of all women to do better in society. So it's an aspect in which we believe. We know that we have the support of the leadership. I spoke to the Speaker of Parliament last week, and he said that this Parliament will be the one that promotes the affirmative action bill. So we really hope to see it within this parliament. He's very, very supportive. In fact, I hope that he will be able to open this workshop. So I feel that really we have the support for the leadership on this. So I will inform you on when this happens. We will publish the results, and we will see if we will be able to really help girls who have political aspirations to take the courage and go for it.
Right.
Because I know that it's not easy.
Right, it isn't. Right. So we are here for it when it is. Just let us know. And one thing that you really mentioned in your earlier speech that got our attention, I would like to probe, is the assistance in order to eliminate terrorism from Ghana and also in neighboring countries. How is the European Union, the delegation in Ghana, helping to arrive at this?
We have an example. First of all, there is the political dialogue that we have with the government of Ghana, but also with all the other countries in the region, with the ECOWAS Secretariat and Commission in Abuja. So there is a political engagement at the highest level of the European leadership, particularly with the countries in the Sahel, to stabilize the region, to improve the governance, and therefore to eliminate also what are the root cause then for the radicalization of youth and for terrorism. So we look at it not only from the point of view of military cooperation, which is indeed there, because several European Union member states and also the European Union with its own missions are present in the Sahel region. We are looking at it as an overall issue. We need to improve the political, the governance, the economic situation in the Sahel.
Right.
What we are specifically doing in Ghana, in addition to these high-level, if you want, conversations, is to try and help Ghana to strengthen the institutions that are going to fight against terrorism, and also to educate the population, and particularly the youth, against radicalization. We know that radicalization is not the culture of Ghana, but we also know that there are influences that may push in the wrong direction. So last year, just before the election, we launched a program of about 5 million euros, which is implemented particularly in the north of Ghana, and it has a component of collaboration with, for example, with the police and also with the military in that part of Ghana. But it also has an important component of cooperating with the civil society, with the religious leader, with all the youth organizations that are there, and that we are trying to divert from radicalization and to engage them more deeply in taking care of their society. The program just started because we started implementing at the end of last year, and we hope that we can have some results soon.
Thank you. One final thing we'd like to find out: are there any upcoming projects the delegation is embarking on that you'd like to tell the Ghanaian youth?
We are now looking at what we are going to do in the coming 7 years. So for the moment, there is not going to be the launch of brand new projects, I would say, in the next few months, because we are in the planning phase. But I would like to signal one project that was launched last year and that now is picking up its activities, because I think it might be of interest for your audience. It's called the Green Project. Green in reality is an acronym to indicate that we are looking at the creation of sustainable green jobs and fighting against climate change in two regions of Ghana, in Ashanti and in Western. This project is very interesting. It's implemented by some partners, the Dutch Cooperation and the UNCDF, which is in fact a UN agency not so well known, but it is looking at innovative business solutions to apply in developing countries. And they are trying to work with, to help with the creation of small business, with training of youth, with innovative financing solution for young people who want to open a business. For example, some time ago, they launched a crowdfunding initiative among the Ghanaian diaspora to try and finance business creation in these two regions. The regions were chosen because they were at high risk of of irregular migration for young people. I have not visited this project yet. I am planning to go probably in June. And when I go, I hope that I can come back with some testimonies and some results. I'm seeing that they are doing a lot of interesting things. They did a business forum, an international business forum, virtual of course, but they really tried to make contact with these small businesses in those regions, with companies all over Ghana, but also outside Ghana. So I find it a quite exciting project. And when I go, I will send you the information, because I would like you actually to report on it. Because it's really aimed specifically at young people who want to start a business, and particularly in circular economy and protecting the environment. It's a very, very interesting concept.
Right. Thank you so much for having us on the show. We're extremely grateful, and we hope to come back one at a time to continue the conversation.
Thank you. I'm really happy that you contacted me, because we really need. I'm really happy to have the possibility to have a channel with towards a young audience.
Right.
So please don't hesitate to come back to me, to ask for information, and we will send you also information on our activities. So maybe you can relay them on your channel to inform you.
We will. Thank you so much. So any highlights about your time in Ghana? What have you done for fun? Have you tried the Zonto dance? Have you tried the food? Where have you been that you've been so happy?
Well, we had COVID. That's been a big dampener on the enthusiasm of being anywhere and doing anything. Unfortunately. So, but this said, COVID has also kept us diplomats in the country, because it's difficult to travel. We have traveled more within Ghana. Right. And as I told you, I like the sea. So I've visited the coast a lot in Ghana. I like very much Elmina, for example. I regularly go there. I love the western region. Unfortunately, the roads are so bad to get to nice places. Right. Everywhere where you try to go is a journey. I haven't, even within Ghana, I haven't traveled as much as I would have liked, because taking a plane is a risk. So it's still a bit difficult. I like Ghanaian food. What's your favorite? I like Gary Photo. Gary Photo. Very much. I like palava sauce. That's my favorite too. Okay, very good. Right. Haven't you tried fufu yet? Yeah, of course. I was going to say, I can have every now and then, because it's a bit heavy, but a good fufu with light soup. And goat meat, or? I can have goat meat as well. Right. Although I prefer fish. Fish in Ghana is very good. So if I have to choose between meat and fish, I always choose fish. Fish, right. But yeah, fufu with light soup. What did I eaten recently that like very much? Omotuo, but the pronunciation maybe is not good. That's it, omotuo. Omotuo, yes. Right. I like that very much, also to be eaten in small quantities, because it's quite heavy. So I actually like Ghanaian food quite a lot. Right. Thank you so much, Ambassador. So she had a real conversation with us on Grace Life TV. So until next time, kindly join us same time next week for another episode of The Time with the Youth on Grace Life TV. It's still your host, Mr. Zeke. See you another time. Thank you.